my fellow Kim ambassadors? What's good? What's popping? What's going on in between, underneath, above, and all that good stuff? It's kind of late right now, so I'm trying to knock out some content real quick. So today we're gonna be doing our first anime on this channel because I love anime. As long as it's not bloody, because I'm agoraphobic and I don't do blood, I don't do all that violent stuff. My heart's can't do it. My eyes can't do it. Today we're talking about Fruitbasket. And I've already started watching it. It didn't dawn on me to do a review on it while I was watching it until now. So I'm gonna catch y'all up to where I'm at, and then we're gonna start doing episode by episode. So I already finished season 1, so I'm gonna go ahead and catch up with season 1 of Fruitbasket. And I'm not good with names, so as I'm talking about them, I'm gonna have their pictures right here with their names, so you can see them. Okay. So we're going to start off with Miss Honda. I don't know how to pronounce her first name. Tsuharu. Anyway, as much disclaimer. Yes, I'll be watching these shows, but I'm not good with remembering names of people or things that are not important to me. My memory has been acclimated to that, for me remembering details that are important for my everyday life. This is not important to my everyday life, so I don't remember names. So yeah, bear with me as we go through this real quick, so we go ahead and go into season 1, 2, and I can catch you up to where I'm at. So season 1, I'll call her Miss Honda because that's what Yuki calls her, and it's just easier. Okay, so Miss Honda, as you see right here, boom. She's like the main character, even though there's other characters, but she's like the main character who is in the story. And the fruit basket is called that because of her childhood memory that she had of. So basically, when she was younger, children would play like fruit basket, and they'll each get a fruit, and she will always get a rice ball, and she always will have to wait. She never got to play because it was never the rice ball's turn. So everybody else will always pick, so she was just sitting aside and watch everybody's pick. So basically she was never chosen, is what she's trying to say. So, first episode, the scene opens with her and she is living in a tent because her mother died a year ago. Her grandfather is out of town with her auntie house because his home is being renovated and made bigger for all of them. So he's been gone and she's been living in a tent. But her grandfather had told her to go live with a friend while he was gone, but she chose to live in a tent and work because she didn't want to be a burden on nobody. No, or any of her friends or whatever. So long story short, how you pronounce his name? Yuki ends up finding out. Yuki and I think it was just Yuki. Yuki and his cousin right here. I can't pronounce it. But they end up finding out that she's living in a tent. And they end up inviting her to come stay with them and be their new housekeeper. And be their new housekeeper or whatever, and also go to school and live there, whatever with them. And she was like, no, I don't want to be a burden, da-da-da. But they convinced her to stay, and she ends up staying upstairs or whatever. And she stays with them or whatever, and well, mind you, The thing of it all is that they all transform into Chinese zodiacs, and she doesn't know that. So while she's there, they're trying to figure out how they're gonna keep their family secret because it's a curse on their family that every member of their family is a Chinese zodiac. Um, and she's not, and people that are outside of that are now aware of that. So they're trying to figure out how they'll keep that a secret from her while she's still living there. So long story short, while they're talking, they hear like a loud noise upstairs, and it's Keo. Keo is the cat, bashing him. He just returned from leaving his family for 4 months and going to training. So Keo's a bit rough around the edges. He's a bit rude. He has anger management issues. He's not really rude. I wouldn't say he's rude. He just has a lot of anger in him. And he doesn't know how to control his anger as of yet. He doesn't know how to control his anger as of yet. So they're talking or whatever, and Keo and Yuki end up getting into a fight. A face to face. A cuff to cuff, cat against mouse, mouse against cat. And somehow she ends up like tripping into them, which causes everybody to transform. Okay. Long story short, she ends up keeping a secret for them, and the head of the family, which is Akito, is fine with it because she had to know. So basically, all of the animals, and she is the leader of all of them. She's not an animal herself, but she's their god or whatever. And they all have to answer to her and listen to her and obey by her law. Now, she's a transgender or a stud. I don't know, but she's not. She doesn't want to. She doesn't want to be a girl. So that. So long story short, she ends up staying with them. Her grandfather comes back, and they calls her to come back home. She goes back home. She's being mistreated by her aunties and uncles or whatever. Her grandfather ends up telling her, like, if you really want to go stay with the boys, that's okay, because your mom wouldn't even endure this. Your mom will go somewhere where she's comfortable. And the boys end up overhearing her spill out her guts about how much she wants to stay with them and how much she loves them and how much they are family to her or whatever. And she ends up going back to stay with them. And they all become like happy or whatever. And then in the meantime, simultaneously where everything is happening, the cousin, the dog, is really being two-faced behind the scene. He is really giving a mysterious vibe. Like, he got some stuff with Akito going on. Using, like, he has a plan. They both got plans together to do something. And it's giving very much so, what's happening here? It's like a eerie, weird feeling that I get every time I watch that. Every time I don't know what's happening or what is going to happen yet. But what I do know is it's nothing good. So, we meet, as the episodes go on, you meet different characters and animals. We met the bunny, and then we get the life story about the bunny. The bunny is basically a boy that likes to dress up as a girl. He's not transgender like that. He just likes to dress up as a girl. He is so adorable, like so adorable. So his story is that his mother, he said when a person gives birth to a zodiac sign animal, they either first are overly protective of them or they're disgusted by them. And they don't want them. And his mother happened to be the one that's disgusted by them and did not want him. And she got her memory erased. Now, the memory thing, let me rewind back real quick. So remember I told you that she ended up finding out that there are zodiac sign animals or whatever, right? So, and Akito was okay with it. Had Akito not been okay with it, she would have got her memory erased because it had happened before with Yuki when he had transformed when he was younger. And this guy, I forgot what animal he is, but I will let you know. It will be right here. He erased everybody's memories. Now, he also has an interesting story, which I'll get back into. So he would have erased the bunny's memory, the bunny's mother's memory, which he did. And now, he goes to like this restaurant or hotel or whatever, where he sees his mom and his little sister. They leave, but they don't know who he he is. She doesn't have any memory of him. She doesn't know who he is, but his father does. And his father is still in his life or whatever. So they have he has that complex of wanting to be accepted, wanting to be loved, and all that stuff. And everybody that we meet all have something going on that they need to overcome. But meeting Miss Honda makes it better for them. She's like the ray of sunshine, the love they need. She always says the exact thing that the person needs to hear. She's always there to give the warm hug. She's always there when they need her to be there and who they need her to be. Okay? So now back to the guy who erases the minds. He also fell in love with this lady, and Akito, they wanted to get married, and Akito did not want them to get married, and ends up turning into a big fight to where it scratches his eye and he becomes blind in that eye. And Akito ends up blaming the young lady that he was in love with for that happening to him, even though Akito is the one who pushed him into the mirror that broke that scarred his eye. So now the young lady who he's in love with is now dealing with the grief or the guilt of the fact that he's hurt because of her, and the guilt consumes her, makes her depressed, and makes her sick to the point where he had no choice but to erase her memory of him from her so that she can heal. And that's the curse that comes with being with the zodiac sign person, is that the guilt that comes with that will make you sick, which is what made the bunny's mom sick. But she also had she also was like, I don't want anything to do with him, but anyway. So yeah, so that's what happened with that. And then we meet other characters, and also the cat. We learn more about the cat. We see the true form of the cat, which I don't know if that's season 2. I think that's season 2. Let me not talk about that part. But it's the true form of the cat. And we later on see that. And then we also learn about the cat's background and why he has such a hate for the rat. It's because the zodiac story of the cat and the rat. So yeah. And then now back to Miss Honda. She has 2 friends, her 2 best friends, who all knew her mom before she died. And one of them was a delinquent because her mom used to be a part of a biker gang. And the 2 friends end up coming to the house or whatever to come visit, because they're really overprotective about her, because at this point, they're all she has. When it comes, her dad is dead, her mom is dead. Her grandfather loves her, but we barely see him anymore after that. After this episode, whatever episode he was in, we barely see him. We don't see him anymore in season 1. So it continues. They come over to visit, and everybody's trying to keep the secret and not transform in front of them. But long story short, they end up doing it, but they were able to cause distractions to where the girls never caught hint to what's going on. You know what I mean? Now, one of her best friends does have a superpower, a power of she could do something. So far, what we know in season 1 is she can read people's electric energy and know what's going on. Now with the boys, she can read, because Kiyo and Yuki goes to school with Miss Honda, which is how they met, and she can read their energy, their electric energy or whatever, and know that something is off with them. Then it's unhuman energy, but she doesn't know what's going on yet. All I know she ever will know. So, long story short, to end up the season is New Year's come along, and usually New Year's, all of the zodiac signs have to meet up at Akito's house, or their main house, everybody's main house, to have a big feast or whatever. And they all were going to go until they realized, Miss Honda will be home by herself and she will be alone because she don't have her mom, and this is the first time she never had her mom. And they end up Yuki and Kyo end up going back to go stay with her at the house. they had left and they were on the way to Akito and the whole festival or whatever. But they chose not to go and stay with her because they know like she's gonna be sad. They don't want her to be sad because she's so sweet to them. She's so kind to them. Now we want a little bit. Akio, when she first met Miss Hande, he was really aggressive towards her and really mean to her. But over time, he ends up softening to her and opening up to her, and like they become really good friends or whatever. And she's really cool, and they all really overprotective over her, and they really love her and care for her, and she loves them so much, and she cares for them a lot. And they miss her when she's not around, and it's coming off a bit like they are falling in love with her. And there are other characters that we met, like Kyo's obsessive friend who is in love with him. Boom. And then also the cousins. She's an animal. Kyo's friend is obsessed with him. She's an animal. She's a zodiac sign. The what is she? The publisher. She's not an animal or anything like that. She knows nothing about it. She's just the publisher of the cousin's book because he's a novel writer or whatever. We also met Kyo's not Kyo. Yuki's brother, and he's a zodiac animal as well. We also met this guy, and he's also a part of it. And I think that's pretty much all the people that we met. If there's anybody else that was in the first season, will be right here. But literally everybody's story all revolve around Miss Hande and how them meeting her changed them and made them better. And because she has such pure love, it makes everybody around her feel better or whatever. So yeah, I really love this episode. I mean, I love this series, this anime. I really love it because it's like there's some parts where I cried, like the season finale. I cried. When they came back to be there for her, and they always like really be trying to put her first. And then we also get introduced to Kyo's secret headquarters or whatever, which is where he plants his garden or whatever. And him and Miss Hande have a beautiful conversation over there, where she kind of helps him a bit with him opening up too, because he can be a bit of. I feel like he can be a bit of lost in his trauma. And that's one thing I want to point out. Each and every one of these characters has had trauma that is associated to Akito. Okay? Like being locked up in the dark. She's just so evil. And every time I see her, and in this season also, Akito and Miss Hande meet at the school. First they met the first time when she went over to the house to go see the mind eraser guy. And he called her over there. And then she found out that the whole love, that he was in love. That's when we find that story out when she goes there. And at the end of that, she was leaving with the cousin right here, and she ends up running into Akito. But Akito was in a car, and she was walking past, and they just caught eye contact. They made eye contact. So then later in the season, Akito ended up coming up to the school surprisingly, and they meet outside, and then it was pleasant. The first meet was pleasant, and then she interacts with Yuki, and Yuki looked terrified to where Miss Hande ended up stepping in between them, because she was like she's overprotective. Okay, just like how they're overprotective about her, she's overprotective about them too. And she steps in between them. It's like to ease the tension. So yeah, that's what I'm like. Everything that bad that happens to them is all with memories, with something that she did to them or said to them, and she could be really evil. And I just don't like her. Like, I'm just ready for her to either die or something, because I'm really over her. I don't like her. I don't like it. But yeah, that was season 1. So they end up bringing the new year together on the roof, and they hope to bring many more New Years together. And it was just sweet, so sweet. So season 2, here we come. Sarel. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know where that's coming from. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and give that notification bell a what? Rain God sing, so that you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Again, I love you. I mean it. God loves you. You know it. And everything that you need to survive in this crazy world has already been placed within you. Just reach within yourself and you'll find the answers. And I will see you in my very next video. Bye.